It's time to go racing again in the Motogp eSport Global Series. Race 4 of 8 at the end of this. The halfway point will have been reached. And as we just said, the main question coming into this one is, can anybody beat Williams-Adrian? There he is, starting from pole position for a fourth time, but he's got his brother for company once again in Williams-Christian, with the front row of the grid completed by AndrewZH.
Yep, and it's a great qualifying for Sancho Queen on the 4th position at his team's home circuit. Lined up next to him is the 2017 and 18 champ Trastevere, and completing the 2nd row of the grid is AndrewZH. Look out for him, he had a good race last time out.
He'll be hoping to go one better, second, or maybe even two better, and a win for AndrewZH. Ellie goes 5.55, again, had another good run last time out. I did Mr. TFTW, starting from 8th with Davide Galigna, rounding out row 3 of the grid.
And the back row of the grid is the same as last time with Moe in 10th. And 11th place on the Repsol Honda, it is Fuchs, the Brazilian.
So Williams-Adrian starts from pole position once again. He now has a championship lead of 25 points, a full race win. Can he make it 4 in a row? He starts from pole position and gets another good start. But Sepang International Circuit has one hell of a run down to the opening corner. It looks like he's got it boxed off as they go hard onto the brakes into turn 1. Takes a tight line contact with his brother. That's Davide Galigna that's gone down, is it? No, it's AndrewZH. It's the champion from last year, the Ducati man, that's gone down, and he finds himself dead last. Drama at the start of this race 4 of the Global Series. Last year's champion crashes out and he's down in 10th place.
Unbelievable. 2019 champion AndrewZH's time in 2020 Global Series just gets worse and worse. You could barely even believe it, seeing him skittle himself down the road. It was also a terrible start for Sancho Queen. He got swallowed off the line, and it seems he's gone all the way down to 11th as well.
Meanwhile, it looks as though we've got a change for the lead, Jack. Williams-Christian hits the front, and now our other champion's gone down. Trastevere crashes out, and look at that. AndrewZH in 9th, Trastevere in 11th. Well, it looks as though we're going to have ourselves, not to say it too early, but a new name on the MotoGP eSport Trophy in 2020. There's obviously plenty more still to come as Fuchs goes down as well. But with Williams-Christian and Williams-Adrian riding like they are so far this year, who would deny either of them from being champions so far?
But unbelievably, Jack, what we've actually missed is that Williams-Christian is leading this race. For once in 2020, Williams-Adrian has some work to do. He's got his brother to chase down. Let's see if he can. Who's that? That's Fuchs, who has to leave a position, so that's going to drop him down to 10th. Actually, he drops down to 11th, so he must have let both of them pass. But it is this man, Williams-Christian, on the Suzuki, out front for the first time in 2020.
Here's Davide Galigna up to 3rd. What a performance from the Pramac Ducati man. AndrewZH up the inside though, and AndrewZH moves himself through into 3rd once again. What a night he's having so far. The Red Bull KTM Tech Twyman has only been on the Global Series podium just once before tonight, and he looks to be on course for 2 in the space of 2 races. He was hard on the brakes there, and down goes Davide Galigna. Clips the rear wheel of AndrewZH. He was in too hot, was a Pramac Ducati man. The door was slammed shut on him by AndrewZH, and he's into the gravel trap.
I tell you what, Sancho Queen has had some first lap. From starting 4th, he dropped all the way down to last in 11th, and then by the end of it, he was up to 6th place again. So the man who's riding for Petronas Yamaha, this is their circuit. They are the Sepang racing team, so it seems as though he's salvaged some sort of honour for them on the first lap.
As has AndrewZH as well. He's up to 5th place now, so at least he's back in contention to some degree, but he needs more than that, does last year's champion. He's already 39 points adrift of this man, Williams-Adrian. At the moment, Williams-Adrian is going to pull out another 9 points over him. It would be 48 points, nearly 2 victories separating last year's champion and the current championship leader. It's almost unsalvageable for the Italian.
Completely. I'd go far as to say that it is unsalvageable. 48 points. It's not a gap he can pull back unless Williams-Adrian suddenly just goes to bits in the rest of 2020. But him sitting in 2nd place now and pulling up to his brother as well. Like, we just see him in front of the screen there as we ride on board with Moe, who's having a cracking ride, by the way.
Yeah, great
Congratulations to that man. But Williams-Adrian is just not going to lose those points if he keeps clean.
The same has to be said for Trastevere as well. He's down in 9th place. The man that's won this championship on 2 times before crashed out. Here he is on the opening lap And it wasn't as if he was touched, he was tugged by anybody. It was his own fault. He's managing to build his way back through the field now. Contact with his compatriot Davide Galinia, and he's up to 8th, but still only 8 points compared to the 20 at the moment of Williams Adrian. He's 25 points adrift. He's going to be 37 adrift at the end of the night. It could not be going better for Williams Adrian at the moment. Everything that he could have wished for is happening, apart from the fact that his brother's currently ahead of him. But we'll get to that. We'll get to that.
And speaking of his brother, he actually just set the fastest lap of the race, a 54.2. So that man is piling on the pressure. He's really starting to stretch Williams Adrian. As I say stretch, I don't mean it literally. Literally, he's only about half a second in front of him. So Adrian, he's certainly got the claws in, and he's hooked onto the back of his brother and that Suzuki GSX RR.
Yeah, good ride so far from Williams Christian. I think he managed to take the lead up at turn 4 in that opening lap. We obviously were concentrating on the fact that AndrewZH had crashed out and Trastevere was dropping like a stone as well. And I think that's where he managed to squeeze his way through on his brother. Meanwhile, track limits warning there for Trastevere. I've just seen at least 2 flash up for JuanNH as well, so he has to be careful, otherwise he could see a penalty coming his way. And we've mentioned it once, Jack, but it's worth mentioning it again. Great ride so far by Moe. Super stuff from the Indonesian on the LCR Castrol Honda, battling up in 4th place and in contention for a podium. That man has never stood on a Motogp eSport podium, but it could be very shortly if he can get his claws into JuanNH. But I think Moe's biggest concern at the moment is not JuanNH in front of him, it's AndrewZH behind him, because the Ducati man, well, if there wasn't a fire lit beneath him beforehand, there certainly has been now after that opening lap drama.
Yeah, certainly, and historically, of course, we've seen that AndrewZH has generally had the pace over Moe to finish in front of him, so Moe is certainly going to receive some heat from the 2019 World Champion. AndrewZH tucked firmly into his slipstream, not going to be close enough for a move this time at turn 1, but turn 1 is one of those ones that can suck you in. He's got to be careful not to run wide, and actually it's AndrewZH that runs wide. How far behind him is Shanso Kreen? Not quite close enough to make to capitalise on that mistake.
Moe out of turn 2, now into turn 3. This is where you need to be careful on that rear tyre. A super corner, so fast is turn 3 on the side of the tyre throughout all of it. They'll then get up to turn 4 here as Williams Christian goes wide. Is it an opportunity here for Adrian? He closes right in onto the rear wheel of his brother. He's staring straight at the number 25 ahead of him. Can he find a way through? Not at the moment. But this is going to go down to the wire, Jack. These two are inseparable at the moment, side by side, nose to tail. And at the moment, though, it is Christian who's just about hanging on ahead of his brother, Williams Adrian.
Yeah, you've got to be wondering how much of that rear tyre is Williams Christian using to stay ahead of his brother. We see him just run a little bit wide there, possibly just starting to struggle getting it stopped on those brakes, but yeah, possibly Williams Adrian just starting to mount a charge. We're only halfway through this race, so there's still plenty of time for him to rehearse some moves and finally put one in the closing laps.
Well, his eyes will be lighting up, Williams Adrian, seeing his brother make the odd mistake here or there, even at this early stage. Remember, we're only on lap 3 of 8 at the moment, and already Adrian is really applying the pressure to his brother ahead of him. He's not folded yet, though, Christian. Plenty time for that to happen. Plenty of time for anything to happen. But at the moment, it's 25, followed by 26. Suzuki, followed by KTM, as we complete lap 4 of 8. Half race distance now achieved. The opening half goes to Williams Christian, but nobody cares who has control of the opening half. It's all about who's in front by the time the second half comes to the end.
Exactly right, Jack. And of course, these two, they train together, so they know exactly what each other can do, exactly what they've got in reserve, and exactly what they've got up their sleeve. So there is literally nothing between these two that they do not know. They know every trick in the book of each other, so it's purely going to be down to racecraft. He's going to have to make a move. Christian's not going to make it easy for him as we look back, and now the gap's actually just opened up a little bit.
It has, yeah. It looks as though Christian has just eked out a little bit more. Meanwhile, I saw a change for 4th place, and now I've seen another one. AndrewZH and Moe are having a bit of a ding-dong, over 13 points at the moment. The Ducati man had got back in front of Moe, and now Moe a reckless riding warning. So what on earth has gone on here? It looks as though the pair of them have had a ding-dong. I was saying it not knowing what had happened, but the fact he's been told off for reckless riding means he's done something that our race director has told him to be careful about, and whatever they've done, it's allowed Sancho Queen to close right in as well, because suddenly the Petronas Yamaha man is back in contention for 4th place. Look at this trio, nose to tail, you could throw a blanket over them, they're that close.
Yeah, it certainly is. And Sancho Queen is not one that doesn't lack any confidence. That man is full of confidence. He said in the last round of the Global Series that he thought he could fight for race wins and the podium, so he's certainly not going to be looking to AndrewZH and be all scaredy cat about him. He's just going to go straight through him when he gets the opportunity.
It's really starting to close together now, this battle for 4th place. We've got Moe, AndrewZH, Sancho Queen, Ellie goes 5-5-5 there, and Trastevere as well. All 5 riders in camera shot at the moment. Here's Trastevere down in 8th place at the moment. Not where we'd expect to see him at all. The factory Yamaha man on a signed contract, unsurprisingly, after his 2 World Championship victories. And AndrewZH has gone down again. Well, I thought someone had gone down in the background, and for the 2nd time tonight, it's the Ducati man, and he drops to dead last as a result. AndrewZH has a nightmare here in Malaysia, and his hopes of being a 2-time world champion are surely going up in smoke.
It's absolutely gone to curtains for the 2019 chap, but Sancho Queen's now being told to leave a position. So what happened here? Oh, we're going to get a replay. Maybe Sancho Queen has done a silly dive bomb, not quite, I don't know.
Oh, he's miles
What's
back.
going on here?
He's miles back.
That is so unfortunate for AndrewZH, just to be tagged on the rear end by Sancho Queen and gone down. So that has pretty much sealed AndrewZH's fate in this 2020 Global Series. 11th and only 5 points to be picked up if he stays there. It's not looking good for him at all.
Not at all. That one, not his fault whatsoever. Sancho Queen, the rookie, rather over-exuberant there. He was an absolute country mile back, and he went in too hard on the brakes, couldn't get it stopped, and poor AndrewZH was the recipient of a T-bone, and down he went. Disaster for the Ducati man. It just hasn't gone his way tonight at all. Meanwhile, back at the front, and it has gone the way of Williams Christian and Williams Adrian. The pair of them finished 1st and 2nd in race 1, and they look like finishing 1st and 2nd in race 2 as well. In fact, it's going to be the same top 3 again. A Spanish armada in the Motogp Global Series as Christian, Adrian and Juan, the Spanish trio, take over on this 2nd night.
Yeah, certainly they've been impressive, those 3 this evening. Juan NH particularly so, coming from some poor qualifying positions and coming right the way through the pack, managing to stay out of trouble. As we now look back to Ellie goes 5-5-5, he's going to try and negotiate Moe to pick up that 4th position, but he's got to be careful. He's got Trastevere behind him as well, and we know that Trastevere likes to get his elbows out. We see last year in the Global Series, he wasn't afraid to bang bars with AndrewZH on final laps as we do approach the last 2 laps, and it looks like he's got the run on Moe. See if he can outbrake the LCR Honda. I think Moe is actually just going to run wide as Trastevere comes diving in from miles back, and it looks as though he's got that move done.
Job done for Ellie goes 5-5-5, moves through to 4th place, does the Aprilia man. A little bit of a nibble there from Moe to see if he can get himself back in front, but he's got it boxed off for the moment. So that's a change for 4th place then. Ellie goes 5-5-5, moves through. Moe now down to 5th with Trastevere there in 6th. Bit of a moment there for Moe. He had it sideways on the brakes into turn 4. Eventually got it stopped though. I thought he was going to run wide and leave the door open for Trastevere, but he managed to close it fairly swiftly and make sure that he held on to that 5th place. We're looking off the rear wheel now of the LCR Castrol Honda with Trastevere swarming all over the rear wheel of the RC213V, and here he goes, looks to get up the inside. The Yamaha M1, of course, extremely nimble. These bikes all, as we said before the race, completely equal in performance, so there's no advantage to be gained anywhere. It's all about the men behind the controller, and at the moment Moe has just got a little bit of an edge over the Italian.
Yeah, it certainly seems that LCR Honda Castrol machine of Moe is just starting to buck and weave at the rear a little bit. So as we come down into the last lap and a quarter, Trastevere will be smelling blood. He'll be smelling a 5th place. And remarkably, I'm actually even saying that the 5th place for the 2018 and 17 champ. But that's exactly what the situation is as we do now come down towards the final lap with this man out front and in control.
Williams Christian into the final corner for the penultimate time. Out of it without any error. It's been a perfect race so far from the Suzuki man. Started from 2nd, took the lead on lap 1 and hasn't looked back since then. Williams Adrian was applying the pressure up to about half race distance, but since then Christian has been able to edge further and further clear, where we're at the point here on the last lap where it's his to lose. The Suzuki Suzuki man in total control here in Malaysia as he tries to pick up his first victory of 2020 and stop his brother's perfect streak at the start of this year's Global Series.
And as this race will signify the halfway point of the 2020 Global Series, is this the start of the pendulum swinging the other way in momentum between the two brothers? Williams-Adrian, he'll certainly feel like he left one on the table here because he was all over him in those early laps, and it just seemed as though Christian had the pace on him. He's pulled away inch by inch, lap by lap, and it's been an absolutely sublime performance from the Suzuki man.
An important one as well, just as you say, Jack. If Williams-Adrian was to pick up another victory here and make it 4 out of 4 and move on to 100 points, the perfect total, you would have to say it'd be nigh on impossible for anybody to stop that man from picking up the 2020 Global Series with the form and the rhythm that he's in. But with this victory, Williams-Christian cuts the advantage, or, well, doesn't cut it, actually extends it. Still does Williams-Adrian, but he moves to within 29 points of his brother, and suddenly you can possibly put a storyline together where Christian can build from this point forward.
You certainly can, Jack. One small mistake, one crash, that's all it's going to take, and that could be a massive total of points. It could be 10, 15 points that Christian could claw back on his brother, and he'd be right in it.
He was almost a forgotten man in 2019. He finished 3rd in the 2019 Global Series and was less than 9 points adrift of the eventual champion AndrewZH. And with this victory, he drags himself back into contention for 2020. Williams-Christian stops Williams-Adrian's run by taking victory here at the Sepang International Circuit. It's another podium for Williams-Adrian, 2nd place, and most importantly, he extends his championship lead thanks to that man, Trastevere, coming across the line in 5th.
So it's Christian that takes it then ahead of his brother Williams-Adrian, who still leads this championship battle. AndrewZH, Ellie goes 5.55, Trastevere, Moe, Davide Galinia, AndrewZH, terrible race for him. Fuchs, Mr. TFTW, and Sancho Queen round out our 11 eSport gamers.